Imagine that you are a police officer and someone just informed you about a time bomb at a distance of 10 kilometers from your police station. The bomb is going to explode in 20 minutes. You know you should reach there at least 5 minutes before to stop it. You are already with your bike, but do you know how fast you should drive to make sure that you reach on time? Or in other words, how fast should you go to cover the distance of 10 kilometers in exactly 15 minutes? We'll come back to this problem later. But first, let's try to understand what does fast and slow mean. Between these two cars, which one do you think is fast? I'm sure your answer is car A. If you observe closely, in the same time, car A traveled a larger distance compared to car B. So if an object is fast compared to the other, it travels a larger distance in the same time interval. Let's look at another situation. Which car do you think is fast now? Again, car A, right? Here both the cars are traveling the same distance, but car B took a longer time. So if an object is fast compared to the other, it travels the same distance in a smaller time interval. We saw that whether an object is fast or slow depends on how much distance it travels and how much time it takes. And the quantity which helps us to measure the fastness or slowness is speed. You must have heard about speed before. Generally, we say that if you want to go fast, you should increase your speed. But what is this speed? In physics, we define speed as the distance traveled per unit time. So if the speed of a car is 60 kilometers per hour, it means that the car will travel 60 kilometers in 1 hour. If we know the distance traveled and time taken by an object, we can calculate speed as distance traveled divided by the time taken. We know that the SI unit of distance is meter and the SI unit of time is second. Thus, the SI unit of speed is meter per second, also written like this. But for convenience, we use the other units of speed too. And the most popular unit of speed is kilometers per hour. In kilometers per hour, we express the distance traveled in kilometers and time taken in hours. So now let's discuss how to convert speed from one unit to another. We know that 1 meter per second is equal to 1 upon 1000 kilometers divided by 1 upon 3600 hours. Because 1 meter is equal to 1 upon 1000 kilometers and 1 second is equal to 1 upon 3600 hours. This can be written as 3600 upon 1000 kilometers per hour. After further simplification, it can be written as 18 upon 5 kilometers per hour. So to convert speed from meter per second to kilometers per hour, we can simply multiply it by 18 by 5. Similarly, 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 1000 upon 3600 meters per second, which is equal to 5 upon 18 meters per second. Thus, to convert speed from kilometers per hour to meters per second, we can simply multiply it by 5 by 18. So if an object moves from point A to point B, which is 200 meters away in 10 seconds, the speed of this object is equal to 200 meters divided by 10 seconds, which is equal to 20 meters per second. Let's try to calculate the same speed in kilometers per hour. It is equal to 20 multiplied by 18 upon 5, which is equal to 72 kilometers per hour. What if you know your speed and the time you took to travel, but you don't know how much distance you have traveled? Can the definition of speed help us now? Of course it can. And it's pretty simple. Just rearrange the formula a little bit. So the distance traveled is equal to the speed multiplied by time. In this case, it is equal to 20 meters per second multiplied by 10 seconds, which is equal to 200 meters. Similarly, if we know the distance and speed but don't know the time we took to travel, we can rearrange the same formula to calculate the time. Okay, let's come back to the problem I mentioned at the start of the video. You need to travel 10 kilometers in 15 minutes to save everyone. Let's first calculate the speed you need in kilometers per hour. So, the distance you have to travel is 10 kilometers. Here we need to convert the time into hours. Since 1 minute is equal to 1 by 60 hours, 15 minutes is equal to 15 upon 60 hours. Thus, your speed should be 40 kilometers per hour. To get the speed in meters per second, we will simply multiply it by 5 by 80 and we get 11.11 meters per second. Great. Now you know that your speed should be more than 40 kilometers per hour to reach within 15 minutes. Okay, have you ever noticed this device in any bike or car? This is called a speedometer and it is used in vehicles to measure speed. Usually, a speedometer uses kilometers per hour as a unit to measure speed. So you can check your speed in the speedometer to keep it over 40 kilometers per hour. And now you can confidently say that you will reach in time to save everyone. That's all for this session. Time for a quick recap. We learned that speed is defined as the distance traveled per unit time and can be written as speed is equal to distance divided by time. Then we learned that the SI unit of speed is meters per second and the other most popular unit is kilometers per hour. After that, we learned that 1 meter per second is equal to 18 by 5 kilometers per hour and 1 kilometers per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meters per second. We also learned that distance can be calculated as the product of speed and time. And the time taken can be calculated as distance divided by speed. And finally, we learned that speedometers are used in vehicles to measure speed. In the upcoming sessions, we will learn more about speed and how it varies during motion. Till then, keep learning.